welcome back. And so from security, we move to the education sector. And it's interesting how these issues are linked, because for this segment, we're looking at how technology can transform our societies. And earlier on, we're talking about the need to deploy technology to effectively tackle security. But of course, for this one, it comes on the heels of the announcement by the federal government of technology online classes for secondary school students, and of course the reduction of subjects in curriculum to now include various levels of artificial intelligence, robotics into the curriculum of schools, secondary schools in particular, to improve learning outcomes of students. Now, how can this be applied such that we can get results? Is the system even prepared with the requisite infrastructure to aid this type of unique learning approach? Let's have this conversation. And joining us this morning is an Edutech expert. She is Nedima Obioha. She joins us virtually on the program this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Obioha.
Thank you so much for having me this morning. It's a privilege and honor to be here at Channels. Thank you.
Yes, we're glad to have you. And so from the perspective of an EdTech expert, how exciting is the news of, the plan to overhaul a learning system with the introduction of the Inspire initiative by the federal government in secondary schools, and of course the overhauling of school curriculum with the introduction of these subjects? And how feasible is this new learning approach in the school system?
Honestly, it's applaudable that federal government is looking into education now. It's also amendable as well for our President Asiwaju, President Bola Ahmed Asiwaju, also putting in this education initiative. He's really done a lot. But again, I would say, are we ready? That was one of the things you also mentioned. Are we ready? And I would say, no, we're not. Coming in as a tech educationist for the last 8 years, I have seen firsthand on what is going on, especially in our local community government-owned schools. I have traveled to more than 20-something states in Nigeria, and I have seen that there is nothing that is really been done. There are no changes that have been made. Let's look at even JAMB. Talking about the federal government and making online, courses or bringing in AI into secondary schools. I look at it and I smile, because today in our JAMB, let's talk about JAMB. 30-something% of Nigerian youths are failing JAMB. And in the last 2-3 years, I have done a lot of research, and I found out that when I ask questions, 6 out of 10 of them would tell me that it's not that they don't know the answers, but really because from JS1 to SS3, they have never seen or touched a laptop or a desktop before. So how can they pass? And now I'm hearing that the federal government is also putting WAEC, digitalizing WAEC. How would they pass WAEC? So I think there is a lot to be done. There is a lot of gap in the ecosystem of technology and even basic digital literacy in our schools today. I have gone firsthand to a lot of local schools in local villages and communities, even down to Nasarawa, Kwara, Kebbi. These are even the northern parts of Nigeria. They're the worst. There's so many schools now that are still using a white, black paint to paint a wall, and that is how they study. So again, I think there's a lot the federal government needs to do. One of the things that I have started last year was a nationwide ICT upgrade. When I say nationwide ICT upgrade, down to the local community schools, because the truth is that a lot of what's going on now is governors and commissioners in education, ministers, and a lot of things are being done in the city center. And I'm not saying that we're not doing well, but I feel like we're not targeting the right people. A lot of the ICT centers today are opened in centers, like, in the center areas, but then they're not putting in the right infrastructure. They're not putting in the right measures for longevity. They can go and open this new ICT hub and go back there in 6-9 months. The place is closed down. Why? Because there are no adequate measures put in place to train the students, not even just training the students, which are mostly private schools that come in to train.
Mr. Nedima, if
I'm saying that they need...
If you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, my apologies.
Yes.
We're pressed for time, so I want to get as much from your expertise as possible. I know
of course
you manage Anson Tech Terminal and CPMS Limited, and you've been on the field, as you've mentioned. What are we losing out as a nation for not scaling technology to hinterlands as quickly as we should? Because you've made a very strong statement. Urban-centric development may not give us the accelerated development we need if we want to really carry everybody along. Look at now, education is even at risk. School children being kidnapped. What do you make of it in terms of what we're losing out for not accelerating?
I think it's the same thing that the professors in the last interview were saying. These things they're not expensive. So the same way they're not equipping our security personnel, the police, and the same way they're not buying the right equipment and they're not, equipping them with the right tools to fight our security, is the same way they're not equipping. And we have this, the government needs to just step up more and provide the tools for the schools. So when I say provide these tools for the schools, is as you're providing these machine guns and all the security measures for the soldiers to go and fight our war, is the same way I'm also saying provide the hardwares, so as we're saying guns, we're saying hardwares for our students. It's extremely necessary to provide hardwares to schools, because that is literally what they need. And it's not because that it's no more, technology now is no more an option. It's a necessity. Everybody in the world needs technology. So I believe that with technology and even courses like you have said in my computer educational center, I'm currently the only woman in Nigeria that holds the highest amount of Edutech centers across Africa. We have been existing for more than 18 years. So our cybersecurity courses alone, imagine starting these hardwares to just one student and learning cybersecurity by the time they get to SS1, and how they can even save the country using cybersecurity and maybe ethical hacking, just getting that technology knowledge into our students. There's so much that they can do in even understanding digital information of when the next attack is about to come in somewhere like Maiduguri.
But Dimma, we're talking about the application of this curriculum on a large scale throughout all federal government secondary schools, and we're looking at thousands of schools, if the same is applicable to primary schools. How confident are you about the requisite skill, or if you like, a pool of resources from the teaching side, to implementing this, particular policy? Does Nigeria have the requisite skill among its teaching population to effectively, implement this policy?
So I would say no. And I'm saying this based on experience. We do not have the right teaching materials. However, the federal government has introduced some good, courses. Well, I think the problem now starts with the current faculty staffs in the schools, to be honest, and you can't blame them because they've been training on blackboards or on the walls, on chalkboards. So I believe that the Commissioner of Education in each state, coupled with policies by the government or the governors in the state, to come in and do PPIs with people like myself to actually give the adequate training. Because, for instance, my partnership with Edutech makes me get the best training faculty staffs trained by the Indians. So I believe that through PPPs by people by myself, having the adequate up-to-date knowledge of this technology courses should be a bit of a mandate or a policy to help train these students and even the teachers, towards a better, updated technology courses is what I would say.
And we hope that, someone is listening to you right now, such that they can, get you to consult to provide the requisite training for the teachers on whatever scale at this juncture. It would, come in handy to help this policy go along the way, particularly for considering so many other possibilities. The CBT, for WAEC exams, for instance, is another part of the conversation. But we must anchor at this point. And thank you so much for coming on the program. This particular one, yes, indeed, that has centered on transformative education. Nedima Obioha is an Edutech expert, and she's the Chief Executive Officer, Tech Terminal and CPMs Limited. She has joined us from our Abuja studio. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And here's where we drop the anchor.
I understand she's trained about 20,000 students in digital skills.
Already. Impressive.
We need to push this into the communities because they need it the most. All right, that's it on the program. Thank you for your time and company. Sunrise Daily is up at the top of the hour. We appreciate you. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Bye-bye. And
we'll be back with the home stretch tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.